Welcome everyone to the PJ's Cast. I'm your host Pierce, alongside of my good pal Dylan. And while we weren't able to do a proper Olympics preview for men's hockey, we'll be able to recap the preliminary round robin, whatever you want to call it, in this video, and we'll be able to give our predictions for the medal round. So, for the first time in the show's history, most importantly, we get to talk about NHL players at the Olympics. So, where do you want to start this off? Because I kind of want to just go group by group. So, I don't know. Do you want to start with the U.S.? Do you want to start? Because to me, because like you're American, I'm Canadian. We'll talk about those teams. But to me, the most interesting group was Group B with Slovakia, Finland, and Sweden. So, you just want to start there? Start the
Yeah,
most
we could
spiciest.
we could start there. Obviously, like we're excited to watch our respective countries play with the amount of talent that they've accumulated, and we'll get to them eventually. But we talked about it for years. The amount of talent that the NHL has, and I'm going to speak on a broad term before we go to Group B, because it's not even comparable when there's not NHL talent at the Olympics. It's even for countries like you look at a Switzerland, you look at a Denmark, you look at Germany. I mean, Slovakia is the biggest story, obviously. I mean, Yuri
Yeah.
Slavkovsky is on an unbelievable Olympic pace. If you look at his goals per game, we'll get to that in a minute too. But it just shows how much talent the league has. We've said it for a decade. We're being spoiled with the amount of talent that's in this league right now, and I think the international play shows it. Like the fact that Switzerland could lose someone like a Kevin Fiala and
Ooh.
to, in essence, not really skip a beat, I think just speaks to the volumes of this league right now. I think you and I don't know if I could speak for you, but I know at least in my case, there were at least 4 or 5 times where I was like, oh, wow, I didn't realize they had this many NHL players on the team. I didn't realize that it was going to be this competitive of a game. Like, I think one of the best games in this tournament was that Switzerland Czechia game. I mean, that was just back and forth. I know that's Group A, but just speaks to the talent in the league. I think we've been blessed with great Olympic hockey. You're going to have your blowouts, like that's expected, but because there are skill gaps at the end of the day. But I mean, the competition is about as close as it's ever been. Like, I think it's the first time in God knows how long we can have an honest conversation about Sweden and Finland and wonder where they're at. I mean, Finland at
Especially
least has somewhat of an
Sweden.
excuse without
Yeah.
Barkov, but yeah, Sweden's got a lot of talking to. And I mean, I guess we'll start there with Group B because, like you said, it's the most wide open group initially. Obviously, Slovakia is the one that comes out on top. 3-2-1 teams. Also, I think that doesn't get talked about enough.
Rock, paper,
There's
scissors with that group.
big time, and each team has their own strengths. But I mean, how can you not talk about Slovakia? This is a historic Olympics, piggybacking off of what they did in 2022. I mean, people forget that's why Slavkovsky went first overall was his Olympic performance, and he's
Dude,
picking
he's
up right where he
MVP.
left off. Dude, he's got
Yeah.
the second most goals by a Slovak in the Olympics outside of Hossa, and he's got a way better goal per game. Like, isn't that
who,
crazy?
who was that bum? He's
More than
on the Hall of
Gabrick,
Fame
more
or
than
whatever
Miroslav
stuff.
Shatan, like more than all these guys. And he is putting the team on his back. I can only imagine the chip on his shoulder he's going to have going back to Montreal after this tournament. But I mean, it's not just him. Dalibor Dvorsky, I think, has been incredible. I mean, we knew the talent was always there as a prospect, but to show this on a national scale, I feel like has just been so renowned. And I mean, you look at Slovakia. I wouldn't have predicted them to be coming first out of that group, especially when you look at Switzerland and Finland in there, but they're holding their own. They get the bye now going into the quarterfinals. And if I recall correctly, they might have a pretty favorable matchup when it comes to, that quarterfinal matchup, depending on
They
who
would
ends up
face
coming out
either
top.
Germany or France. And my dark horse heading into this tournament was Germany. And I was kind of let down, but I don't know if I can be even let down more so. Like the teams are just way closer than what we thought they were. Slovakia, just to me, that they're the story of the preliminary rounds. You look at the teams that got by to the quarterfinals, obviously Canada and US, for as much as we complain about them in the politicking, they're still incredibly good teams. But yeah, 3 and 4 to me, that could have been wide open, but you expect Sweden and Finland to be there, but no, it's Slovakia and Finland who get the bye. And now, if you're the US, if Sweden beats Latvia, that might be as tough as it gets to try to get to the semifinals. Whereas Canada, they either face Czechia or Denmark. And then, yeah, like I said, Slovakia will face Germany or France, and then Finland's going to face Switzerland or Italy. So, yeah, just there was only a couple blowouts, but and I remember when Slovakia beat Finland, people were like, "That's an upset." I don't know. Like, I think the teams are so close now. I think it's so hard to call something an upset. Like, I think if Italy somehow beat Sweden when they were tied with them, that would have been an upset. If Denmark beat the US after Swayman letting that goal from center ice, that would have been an upset. But to me, a team like Slovakia beating Finland, that is not an upset at all. And I was trying to pull up the story for that Mark Lazarus did at the Olympics, and he said that he was there at the 2014 Sochi Olympics. I think Slovakia lost to Slovenia, who only had one HL player, and that's Anze Kopitar. Obviously, they lost in
player.
they lost in the qualifying round, and Yaroslav Halak did an interview where he was crying because they thought that was their longest chance for a while, because a lot of the players there were a lot older. Marian Hossa was in his 30s, so was Chara. Unfortunately, guys like Pavel Dimitra died. Like, Slovaks have had some great players, but they never had the talent coming on the way. And Miroslav Satan, I think in 2018, 2019 says, all right, we got to put more money into the Slovak hockey program. And it's immediately paid off because, yeah, like Yuri Slavkovsky going first overall in 2022. Simon Nemec is on the team. Like, Slovakia has a lot of good young players, but they also have some established players right now. Their blue line is very good. You got Eric Chernak, who's an established Stanley Cup winning defenseman. You got Martin Veravari, who's a very reliable.
They have a very solid defense.
Defenseman. And their goaltending too, Hlavaj, I think that's how you say his name. He was incredible in that game against Finland. But yeah, if you're looking at it now, to me, Slovakia is the dark horse to maybe get a medal. I would still put Germany in there because you never know with Draisaitl and Stützle and their top end talent. But yeah, to me, Slovakia is the team to watch going into the medal rounds here.
It's funny because I'm gassing up Slovakia all this much, and they're not my sleeper. Like, that just shows how deep this tournament is. Like, I just think, man, like, I forgot how much of a demon Giannoni is on Switzerland when he wants to be. And if you catch Switzerland on an off night or you don't play them the right way, they're going to hang around. And obviously, I don't think they're going to hang around with like a USA or a Canada. I think there's a depth thing there. But, I mean, shoot, we have seen multiple times in this tournament both of those teams play with their food early on. They dug themselves holes, or at least tried to, just by not, playing like a preseason game half the time. But, yeah, like, I think Switzerland's my dark horse at the moment. I just think –
I was going to say Switzerland too. Yeah.
Yeah, one. I just never realized how much NHL talent was on that team, or former NHL talent. I mean, funny enough, I feel like Kurashev's had a pretty strong Olympics. He's looked very good on that as a secondary option on that Switzerland team. Roman Josi being not even the captain on that team is kind of crazy. Nico Hischier.
Captain? I thought he was.
Is he? Hold on. Sorry. Maybe I'm talking out of my butt, but doesn't matter. I mean, the fact that they lost Fiala, but you still have Hischier, you still have all these guys. It's just
Meyer.
I believe Timo. Yeah, I was about to say. I believe Timo Meyer
Moser on their defense.
Yeah, Moser's so underrated. He's really had a strong tournament. Even you don't think of a guy like the two guys I immediately thought of when I'm watching this tournament is like Radim Šimik and oh my gosh, Dean Kukin. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, all right, these guys are normally third pairing guys, but that's such a huge asset to have someone who could skate at an NHL level in this tournament, especially on the back end. Even if Radim Šimik is probably a healthy scratch 6-7 guy in the league, he's playing top 4 minutes right now. Michael Kempny looking like he's never skipped a beat, which I think is hysterical for Czechia. It's just fun to see some of these stories of some of these players where you're like, man, I haven't seen him play in years. I audibly laughed when Reichel scored from Cahoon for Germany. I thought that was just the funniest thing on earth. But and that's what you get to see at these tournaments because, some players who maybe have fallen out of love with the NHL or have, their time has passed them, hasn't passed international play. It's always fun to see.
Yeah, there's going to be players auditioning for the NHL, and a name you brought up was Dean Kukin, who played a few years in Columbus and got that overtime goals against Czechia. Yeah, there's definitely going to be some fringe guys who have maybe they've not wanted to play in the NHL and have just gone back home and are fine with that, or maybe they do want to go back to the NHL and they might get an opportunity. So, yeah, it's not only for the top end guys, it's like guys who are kind of fighting for their lives and maybe auditioning for the NHL. But yeah, the only blowouts there really was when Canada beat France 10-2, and then I think Finland beat Italy 11-0. But even then, like to me, France and Italy, there is a clear gap between the rest of the teams. But even them, they like especially Italy, they held their own, especially that game against Sweden where I think they were tied for the longest time, and Philip Gustafsson misplayed a puck. I think played it right to one of the French players. Like yeah, France and Italy might not win a game or go anywhere, but I think, and it's hard to take moral victories at the Olympics when you don't win anything, but the fact that they have even been in the games, I think, is a huge testament to them.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows that. I mean, especially in this sport, it really can be any given night. All it takes a couple of bounces. I know for a fact when I was watching that Denmark game, I was losing my mind watching Swayman because I'm just like,
Oh
there's no way
yeah,
you just let up a puck
Spencer
from
Knight
center
stopped that.
ice.
Yeah,
Like, and then I thought it was funny because I feel like Germany was watching tape on Swayman and not Hellbuck because all they did was shoot from far on Hellbuck. But I think also the U.S. finally decided to play structured hockey, so that helps. But yeah, like I think every team has had at least a second to shine. Like Italy had their chances early. Obviously, last couple games haven't been as good, but especially the Finland game, that's
they
Finland
even made
throwing their
that
weight around a
Slovakia
little bit.
game 3-2. They were within one
Hmm.
goal, and then the game against Sweden, they were like within a goal. Poor Damian Clara having the game of his life, but he gets injured, and they put up 60 shots on them. Like, yeah,
Yeah, that's another great story too. I mean, that's an Anaheim Ducks prospect right there. So might be looking at Dostal's backup down the line, which is
jeez,
kind of
yeah.
crazy. And he's looked pretty good for Czechia. I know he hasn't had his moments, but I mean, Czechia is kind of doing the. I feel like Czechia and Germany are both kind of playing a little bit of hero ball with their stars, and it's biting them in the butt. They're like Germany was really counting on Draisaitl and Stutzle. Obviously, you should; those should be your play drivers, but they can't play 60 minutes. And
No,
I kind of felt watching Czechia, they were like, all right, when Potts is on the ice, when Nations is on the ice, when Hurdle's on the ice, we're going to make those minutes count. And then afterwards, it's like, all right, well, we'll scramble and see what we can do. And I just don't think that's a winning formula, especially in this tournament. Like we talked about, there's too much depth. You can't look at a Switzerland that way. And Czechia maybe did to an extent. And that's why they lost them in the group phase.
underrated injury was them losing Pavel Zaka because they would have had a pretty nice 1-2 punch at center with Hurdle and Zaka, but now you gotta rely on David Kampf to be your second line center. I don't even think he's a top six center in Vancouver. Well, he
Another
might be
former
with.
NHLer. I'm pretty sure they have Philip Schlafik on that team, and he's playing like
Mhm.
very high top 6 minutes. So this shows, you know, could be out of the league a couple years, but that's not how the coach of their country views them.
Yeah, you bring up Czechia and Germany just using all their top end talent. It felt like with Germany versus Latvia, they're like, okay, we're probably not going to have much of a chance against the States, but we've already beat Denmark. If we can get Latvia here, we'll put ourselves in a favorable position. But they weren't able to win that game because Latvia plays very well at these tournaments. They always punch above their weight class. As a Canadian, I would know that as well as anyone. But yeah, just looking through the groups coming into this, like Czechia and Switzerland historically have always given Canada a rough go, especially at the Olympics. And then Group B, I was like, okay, that's got to be the most open one. And to me, Group C, US had the easiest, the easiest group, as much as like Germany and Denmark and Latvia aren't pushovers. But I felt there was a clear gap between the USA and the rest of those teams. Whereas in Group A, I felt Switzerland and Czechia maybe not beat them, but maybe they could have pushed Canada overtime, and the overtime wins come in. But yeah, to me, just Group B was the most interesting to me because it was rock, paper, scissors. Slovakia beats Finland, Finland beats Sweden, and then Sweden beats Slovakia. But maybe one of those weirdest moments I've seen in hockey because of the goal differential. They scored a goal with 30 seconds left in the game, Slovakia. So they're still losing, but it's like feels like they just won a medal with the way they're celebrating because they clinched the group. Because I think it was since they had the same amount of points and it was all about the head to head. If they had scored like a certain amount or got their goal differential to a certain amount, that they would win that group, and they did. And yeah, it's been interesting watching these Olympics with the goal differential because if like Canada didn't run out the clock against or run up the score against France, we might have been having a more interesting conversation, but I don't think it would have mattered
I,
anyways.
I just, biased U.S. fan here. I really do think we're getting shafted with this whole goal differential thing. They handily beat all three opponents, and they're getting the worst opponent in the first round. That's just kind of fucked in my opinion, but we're just not going to talk about that. Yeah, I do think the goal differential thing's a little crazy. I think it's, good on Canada, I guess, for running up the score, but like they basically incentivize the US. It's like, all right, go win 11-0, or we're gonna have the easiest path. So have fun. And rightfully earned. They I said countless amount of times in every US game, I wish they would have just kept their foot on the gas for most of the game. Because at the end of the day, that if that goal differential, it does matter. I'm not gonna pretend like it doesn't. It's the difference between playing Switzerland or Sweden. That is what it is. I mean, granted, Latvia can upset them. Latvia had a big win in this tournament. Doesn't matter. I think that's neither here nor there. At the same time, though, I'd like to beat Sweden. It'd be nice because the women just beat them today as well. But
I mean, if we want to talk about that, I think the U.S. women's are handily going to win the gold. I don't believe much in the Canadian women's team this year, but we'll see.
Don't say that. You saw who got both goals for Canada today. Unless she's out of the game, I really don't.
Unless Mary-Philippe Poulin is dead, she's gonna be there.
Yep. Like everyone was flexing the 5-0 win, and I'm just like, they didn't have the best player in the world. I really don't care. Like beating Canada without McDavid. I don't think that counts. Like it just doesn't count. And wonder if Finland's got that mindset without having Barkov. But at the same time, Sweden doesn't have Carlson. Like everyone's missing players, whether it's by injury or by choice.
Oh boy, especially choice.
But I do kind of want to get into like top performers in this tournament because I mean, we'll just start where we need to start. Connor McDavid's broken the Canadian Olympic record for points in a run. In his own universe. We're in the fucking group stage. Like you could speak on it. I mean, I didn't really get a chance to watch a lot of the Canadian games, but from what I saw, he got to do whatever he wanted on the ice, and they were just like, let's put Celebrini with him. Let's put the third goal. Let's get the third leading point getter in the league, 19-year-old phenom who the moment is never too big for him. And then, we want to load it up. We can put probably the Hart Trophy winner this year. I mean, if it's not going to be you, it's going to be him, and we'll just put him on your right wing just in case you need it. Like it's fucking child's play what Canada's doing with their top line. Like, and that's not even including probably the best two-way line in the tournament when you got Crosby, Marner, and Stone. It's just like
incredible line, incredible depth.
And I feel like it just shows. I feel like for both the U.S. and Canada, it shows they're spoiled because for the U.S. right now, everyone's talking about the third line. And they're talking about how it's not clicking. And I feel like for Canada, all they're talking about is the Suzuki line and how that's not working. And I'm just like, who fucking cares? Like, who fucking cares when your top six is doing that? And it is that. And on their worst day, like I could care less what the third line's doing for USA when I see how that Matthews and Eichel line play every shift. And I feel the same way about Canada. Like, how could you care knowing that you're rolling McDavid, McKinnon, Crosby, no matter what? Or you'll just run two of them and the line's mega stacked and God forbid either team takes a penalty. Like, it's an embarrassment of riches and the points show it.
Yeah, I don't care to talk about Bedard being in the Olympics anymore. Like we're far beyond that. To me with the Fords, I just don't think they could have ever messed that up because they just have such an embarrassment of riches. But
God no. No, I mean I was gonna let you talk, but just God no. Like no way.
And the goaltending is the goaltending on the other end of it. Like, it's not going to be what it once was with Hall of Famers like Price, Luongo, Brodeur, and whoever else. But Binnington and Thompson are fine. To me, what has maybe given me the most pause about the Canadian team is their defense. I'm just concerned, like, obviously Cale Makar is Cale Makar, but I like Colton Parayko, Travis Sanheim. I think they could have done better there. But again, you're nitpicking at this point. They're such a dominant team, and I thought Czechia and Switzerland were going to give them, like, it was going to be a lot closer games. And that first game against Czechia was very close. It was very, like, that first period could have gone.
It was a tighter game than it looked. It was definitely a tighter game than it looked.
And
box score
depicted. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And I think 5 seconds left in the first period. Cale Makar shot chipped by Macklin Celebrini. And then like that game against Czechia, I think once it got to 3-0, I'm like, yeah, okay, they got this in the bag. And just incredible depth goal scoring. Connor McDavid is doing what he's doing, but also I think Bo Horvat's got a couple of goals. Macklin Celebrini's doing what he's doing as a 19-year-old, which you can never say too many good things about that. Sidney Crosby's still going strong. I don't even think you can say Unk still's got with him because he's still one of the best players in the world. And I don't want to go too far ahead, but like I think he's gonna be here in 2030. Like what's holding him back from not going in 2030? If he wants to play, he's gonna play and he's still gonna be great. But yeah, that Marner to Stone goal was a thing of beauty. Just the depth on forward is so good. And but yeah, we got people complaining about Nick Suzuki and Brandon Hagel. Like, are we joking here? Like, obviously, if they lose, we can start questioning that. But I just, as much as I might criticize Canada, to me, their top end talent, no one in the world can match that. They just have so much like of that high end talent. Like I haven't even mentioned Nathan McKinnon. I think like certainly hasn't been bad, but I think he's due for a game where he just pops up, which is a terrifying thought when you have McDavid, Crosby, and Celebrini. Like it's just ridiculous. It is.
Yeah, I mean, you have 3 generational players that'll help. Maybe 4 if you count Makar. Like it's just.
Yeah,
it's like you said, it's an embarrassment of riches, and you have the ability to just get so creative with those lines. Like I think a goal that it's not going to get talked about, especially because it's from that 11 goal game. But like I think the first goal just shows how diverse they can be. Like they can do something as simple as Doughty putting it on from the point and Wilson burying it short side. Like it could be something as simple as that. It could be something as exotic as any of Celebrini's points in this tournament. I feel like it's just they can play anyway. And I know like you have your concerns about the back end, but at the end of the day, they can outscore any problem they put themselves in. That's just the reality. I think they know that's how they have to play this tournament. Which, if you tell that to Canadian fans in 2014, they'd be like, "Wait, what? We're not structured.
We could
like
score?
what? Yeah, like we can actually score goals like at an elite level and aren't just playing the best defensive hockey in front of Carey Price you've ever seen. Like it's a complete opposite of what they were in 2014, and I think it just shows the evolution of the team, I guess, over the last decade. Shows the evolution in talent in the NHL, and I think it just shows how much they've emphasized offensive ability, which is something that I feel like for a lot, I mean, especially for the U.S., but for, both teams, like, yeah, they prioritized offense, but at the end of the day, they wanted their guys on the team. Like guys were left off for Chris Kunitz back in the day. You know what I mean? Like this is just, it's kind of how they've operated, and, success has led their way. And I guess my question for you, Pierce, is because like, obviously it's just had been a blast to watch this team these last couple games. Who's been your favorite to watch out of all of them? Jordan Binnington, obviously.
Yeah. You know what? Like, I'm glad the Soviet Union and Joseph Stalin were fighting with the Allies. I'll say that.
Like, wow.
I've had no problem with the goaltending, and I know people were kind of concerned with the couple goals he let in against France, and like, yeah, sure, but to me, I'd be more concerned if he had a bad game against a team like Czechia than against France. Like, again, I hate to be like France, whatever, but they played with their
France.
They had no problem there. But yeah, that game against Czechia, where Czechia could have easily got off early and maybe gone on to win that game. Who knows? Jordan Binnington made a lot of key saves. So, like, again, goaltending is not my concern with this team. I'm fine with Binnington and Thompson. I think they're just going to go Binnington the rest of the way. And not that I'm, like, ultra confident, but I'm like, yeah, they can win a gold medal with Binnington. But, man, how is it not Connor McDavid? I know I get to watch him a lot being in Edmonton, but he really just is on a different level. Like, I think the record for most points in one Olympics is 11, and I think it was done in 2006. I think it was Solani and Saku Koivu. He is going to beat that handily. Like, depending on who they play in the quarterfinals, he might pass that record in that game. He's already got 9 points in 3 games. Like, we're just running out of superlatives, adjectives to describe how good he is. And to me, it's not a question of who do I have the most fun watching on this team, because like name one of the top guys, Connor McDavid, but I think to me it's like, oh, I get to cheer on these guys, and I usually don't. Like, I don't usually cheer for the Avalanche. And I think Nathan McKinnon's kind of a dick, but man, would I love him on my team. And getting to cheer for Brad Marchand, Tom Wilson, Sam Bennett, like, to me, they are angels and they can do nothing wrong until February 23rd when we got to go back to play again. Like, glad that Joseph Stalin and the Soviet Union is on our side for this while, but yeah, once the war is over, we're enemies again.
No, it's true though. It's true. You know, there's all these teams that you've been accustomed to rooting against, and it's nice to be able to have a guy like Tom Wilson and Sam Bennett in your corner.
Tom Wilson has been good. Brad Marchand, I think, has been injured. I don't know if he's going to get regular time, and Sam Bennett's just kind of a depth guy, but those are the guys where I'm like, I don't think I've ever cheered for them once, and now they're on Team Canada. I do get to cheer for them, so that's fun.
Definitely.
And I guess kind of the same with Jordan Binnington, but who's been that for you where it's like, oh, this is weird to cheer that I'm cheering for this guy now on the US?
I mean, like, I've always liked the Kachucks. Like, this is the thing, like, a lot of the guys in Team USA I've been a fan of for a long time. So, like, it's just nice to see, like I was talking to my friend Connor about this, and it's just, the fact that you look at that 2016 US development team and almost all of them are here. Like, Kachuk's here, Matthews is here, Rowensky's here, Keller's here, Hughes, McAvoy, like all these guys from that program a decade ago are leading the charge with this team, and it's just been so exciting to watch. And I mean, if we're talking players that I least expected to like wow me this tournament,
Brock Nelson is the name for me. Yeah. Like, he's definitely belonged there. I wouldn't have said that at the beginning, but to me, he's impressed me the most, like giving me like I've earned the most respect from, because even last year when they made that trade to begin with, I'm like, maybe they could have kept Callum Ritchie and see what he did, but like he's had a late career renaissance, and he's been awesome for them. Like, he should have had at least a hat trick in that game. I think it was against Latvia where they like 2 disallowed goals in the first period or whatever it was.
Yeah, I was joking. I was like, watch those disallowed goals be the difference in the goal differential.
Yeah, but it was for a while it was.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like, obviously Nelson's been a surprise. I've actually been impressed with what Miller's brought to the table in terms of his role. But like, dude, Jack Hughes I didn't expect Jack Hughes to be as much of a game changer this series, especially coming off the injury. I know the goal scoring isn't there. He had the one 2 games ago, but he is driving play no matter who is on his line. Like, he is one of the main reasons Brock Nelson is being as big of a surprise as he is, because Jack Hughes is running that fourth line. Like, at this point, the fourth line's the third line. The Larkin line is the fourth line. That line has been the least impressive line in the tournament. Granted, it has been a revolving door, but I mean, if we're talking like 2 guys that are like high end wise, I've just been blown away with. And I always knew Jake Guentzel was this good, right? Like, he was this good in the Four Nations. He's always been this good in Pittsburgh. He's a demon in Tampa, but that guy is always in the right spot. He's always making the right play on the forecheck. He's like, I feel like anytime I see a puck getting rung around the boards and I feel like it's going to go out of the zone, Blackhawk syndrome, you're just used to it by this point. Mm-hmm. Jake Guentzel's the one there to clean up the mess. Jake Guentzel's the one making the space down low for Matthews to get some space and get creative. He's also the guy that's going to get open for Matthews to put it on his stick. Like, it's just, he's been such a diverse player, and he's the big reason Matthews has gotten going these last 2 games, and that line with him and Boldy has just been nuts. Like, those 3, especially that last game against Germany, really started turning it on. And like, I always knew Austin Matthews had this in him. I'm probably the biggest Austin Matthews advocate that's not a Leaf fan. And I know the guy's been playing hurt the last 18 months. He's kind of looked like he's playing hurt at some points in this tournament. But at the same time, he's had at least 5 shifts where I'm just like, holy fucking shit. Yeah, this is why this guy probably should have 2 Hart trophies right now instead of 1. Just lights out player. But that's not even the player I've been most impressed with. It's Jack Eichel. Like, I've always known he's so fucking good. It's not even funny. Like, anytime that Eichel Kachuk line is on the ice, I don't think I've seen them in the defensive zone once. I'm so serious. Unless it's the defensive zone draw, it's the only time I've seen that line in that zone. I think Kachuk's like expected goals for, like the goal share is like 87% in the US's favor when they're on the ice. It's like they just dominate possession.
I think that's
and Eichel Like, obviously, I don't think he gets enough credit for how fast he is. Like, obviously, people want to talk about his playmaking ability. That's ridiculous. His transition ability, he's probably top 2 in the league outside of McDavid, maybe even better than McDavid at times, which is crazy to even say. But go watch Jack Eichel in transition, whether it was Buffalo, whether it's Vegas, whether it's United States. This guy does what he wants in the neutral zone. And we talked about it for so long. And, I feel like that's one of the stats that we initially looked at with Bedard, and we were like, holy shit, yeah, this is why Bedard's going to be good. If you have such a high success rate of carrying the puck through the neutral zone, you're just better than everyone else. You're making defensemen shit themselves in a way that, McDavid does, in a way that a Crosby does, in a way that a Celebrini and McKinnon are doing right now. And when he's got 2 fucking bullies on his wings, it just makes him look untouchable. And he is. He's untouchable on that line. And he's still throwing his weight. It's been such a nice sight to see. And I think, if anything, him being this fucking good is helping Matthews be better. Because last year, it took till like that last Canada game for them to realize, oh, let's just glue the Kachucks to Eichel and we can do whatever we want with that line. Which, that's on Sullivan. You should have known that from the jump. I think anyone with a brain knew to put both Kachucks together, and you're probably going to control the puck more than you're not in most cases. But he's just been such a beauty to watch, and I feel like that's how you got to feel when you watch McDavid and Celebrini cook for 45 seconds, and then Crosby and Marner and Stone come on the ice and they hold the puck in their end for 1:30, and oh no, Colton Parayko turned the puck over for 2 seconds. Who gives a shit? He just threw it to Nathan McKinnon 160 feet up the ice. Like, it's just, we have not been able to watch this as adults. Like, that's just the reality. We haven't, except for 3 games last year in a meaning nothing tournament that, everyone wanted to mean the world because that was the only time we've ever had this. And it's just like, it's nice for it to actually mean something, not for us to make it mean something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Long tangent, but it's been so refreshing. It's been so refreshing.
Like, all tournaments are made up at the end of the day, but like the luster, like the sound of an Olympic gold medal to 4 Nations Cup. Absolutely. I get where you're going there.
Exactly. There's a little more oomph on it, a little more meaning to that.
A little cachet.
Don't get me wrong. It's nothing to take away from a head-to-head win against like a U.S. or a Canada. That always counts. Trust me, especially when it's the the game-winning goal. And I'm going to be honest. Like, Matthews is starting to play like a guy who's got something to prove, and that gets me excited because if the captain can lead from the front like that, and you already have the guys who aren't even wearing C's on their chest leading like that, that reflects through the lineup. And I think guys like Rowensky and Hughes and McAvoy have responded accordingly, and that could lead to a very fun tournament. Also, I think Connor Hellebuyck looks great, so that helps a lot. Like, Connor Hellebuyck doesn't look like he has the yips like he did earlier this season for the for the Jets after his Hart Trophy year. I think that's more on the Jets, but I probably wouldn't blame the guy who won MVP, but that's just me. Also, Swayman, never see the ice again. You should probably be in the box with Ottinger.
No, he shouldn't have been in Italy to begin with. It should be Spencer.
No, but they gave him the game because he won gold last year. So stupid. But at the same time, with that logic, we don't have Tage Thompson at the Olympics, so I'll just take what I can get. I'll just take what I can get.
Yeah, the fucking politicking, but this is, you said that. This is the first time we're watching this as adults, and the thought popped in my head earlier that there are people that probably have become adults this year and don't remember NHL players being at the Olympics. Like, let's say you just turned 18 today. You were 6 years old when the 2014 Olympics happened. You might remember it, but do you remember?
You saw it was green green. You saw it was fucking red versus blue. That's all you saw. And then yellow came in at the end and lost the red too. That's all you saw.
Yeah. And like 2006, I would have been 5 years old when the 2006 Olympics happened. I don't really remember that much. I know Canada didn't win. I know that. 2002, I was like still a baby, but yeah, 2010 and 2014, I remember perfectly. So, but yeah, I am enjoying the hell out of this, but it also makes me so fucking angry on what we missed out on the past 2 Olympics.
You don't know how many times I've been sitting here watching these teams cook, and I'm like, man, wouldn't it be great to see what Kucherov and Ovechkin could do for just one game, especially with Malkin in the middle? Especially like 7 years ago, that would have been really fucking sick. Seeing Kane with Austin Matthews when Austin Matthews is breaking records in goal scoring and Kane was on pace for like 70 assists a year. Never saw that. I know Sweden's probably got to feel the same way, at least with like having Backstrom and never getting to see him with like Elias Pettersson when he was young. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like prime Philip Forsberg in one of these tournaments we never got.
No,
Which
but they hate him
sucks.
now. They're not playing him.
Yeah, but that's the point. Like this guy would have been your catalyst at one point. We never get to see that. Sucks. Feel bad for guys like, the Kucherovs and the Vasilevskis who are never going to get to have that moment. That sucks. That sucks.
Yeah. And like as a Canadian, I'm lucky enough that
Steven Stamkos.
Yeah, that
Sorry.
might be the number
That's
one.
the biggest one.
Yeah. Just him being snubbed in 2010 and 2014. I think he broke his leg. So yeah, just horrible timing. But at least we get to see Crosby, McDavid, McKinnon together. Now we get to see Celebrini. And again, I still think there is a reality in 4 years we'll see all those guys, Bedard, Schaefer, and whoever the hell else is first overall in the next couple of years with Canada.
Yeah, Canada's going to be fine. I'm not too worried about them. And it's crazy because like Russia would have a new wave of people too. Like Demidov in this mix would have been nuts. Like, oh man. But that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, and we're just gonna have to see it. Like, obviously Canada, I think they're gonna start building their team kind of the way they built it this year, just with the way they got a lot of young talent coming up. I think the U.S. is going to have to get creative in 4 years because I think it'll be a little bit of a changing of the guard. Like, you're still going to have your Matthews and your Eichels and your Kachucks, but they're going to be like late 30s.
Will be older.
2034 is going to be a big pivot year for Team USA, I think. But it's true, though. It's true.
I know, but
like you got to look at it like that. Crazy. Yeah, you got to look at it like that. Like in 8 years, Matthews could be retired just with all the injuries. Like that's just the reality. So yeah. I'm excited, and it sucks because it's all going to end this weekend. So, yeah,
it happens quickly, man. I'm pretty
2
sure.
Weeks.
Yeah, the 2034 Olympics are in Utah. I'm pretty sure it's in Salt Lake City.
Yo. All right, who's going to be like the 16-year-old right now in the U.S. development, or like not even? He's got to be like 13 in the U.S. development program. It's going to save us. Who's it going to be? Oh my God, is it going to be like Amy Jones's nephew? I hope so.
Jesus. Oh, I wanted to mention this earlier. Macklin Celebrini, the first NHL player ever to score penalty shot at the Olympics. I think I saw something. It was penalty shots of previous years, 2014. I think it said Patrick Kane had 2 penalty shots in the bronze medal game when he didn't score on either of them.
Yeah, I remember watching that game. That shit sucked.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pretty sure Pekka Rinne was the goalie because of course he was. Just always works that way. Even worse, just always works that way. Some goalie that has some beef with the Blackhawks. It's just always how it works. Congratulations, Tuukka Rask. You got your revenge. I hope that Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Monkey Paw, you beat Tuukka Rask in the final, but you can't beat him in the Prospero game.
And he owned Rask in the final. That was like a year ago. Whatever. I digress. Yeah. I digress. That was well over a decade ago. Ugh.
I don't know if you have any more like points about the round robin or who stood out to you. Who's kind of been disappointed?
Marty Necas on Czechia. So that's another guy I want to shout out because he's been the best player on the team. He's been better than Pastrnak in my opinion.
Canada completely shut Pastrnak down. That was one thing I did notice. Easy to win games when you do that.
Yeah, and US did that to Draisaitl yesterday. So it's just like that's the problem when you don't have depth. You could just smother the one guy. So that sucks. I mean, if we're talking guys who disappointed, I don't even know. Like I probably have to take a better look. I mean, obviously, I think you could talk about Finland as a collective. Like I think guys like Aho really haven't done what I thought they would do in this tournament, especially without Barkov there.
For them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like Rantanen's been great. Like that was expected, but I think Aho's left a little more to be desired, if I'm being honest. And, Pettersson turned it on in that last game, so we'll see where that goes. But like he needs to be the pivotal.
So bad. Yeah.
They really did. And he's got to be the catalyst on that team. It's got to be him or Dahlin. And it's funny because Dahlin's been sick. But Raymond's got 5-3, and I think he's got to turn it up another gear. This team's gonna win, which sucks because that should there should be someone else who has to hit that gear, but this team just lacks high-end talent. I guess Jesper Bratt, maybe he needs to be the one that turns it on. but someone's got to hit the switch for Sweden because this is not going to get easier. And from all looks, it looks like your goaltender has the yips to an extent. So
Yeah, not inspiring.
knowing the U.S. luck,
goaltending.
Gustin will have like 60 saves in the quarterfinal. So I'm speaking it into existence now. You're welcome, Minnesota. They're going to take you to a glorious first round exit. It's going to be very great. It's going to be very great.
You bring up Lucas Raymond. He is interesting because he had a beautiful goal against Slovakia, but then he completely nullified that by taking the penalty, I think, with a couple minutes left that led to Slovakia scoring and let them win Group B. So even though I think he's been good for them, unfortunately, I think for a lot of people and Swedish fans, that I forget what the penalty was, but it was a needless penalty, one that was easily avoidable and cost them Group B. And now you gotta play Latvia in the qualifying round, which is no walk in the park. And then if you win that, now you gotta go play the U.S. So, yeah, I don't know if there's really too many disappointments, but because when there's not an amount of talent, like they're looking at the goal scores, like Tim Stützle's got 4 goals in 3 games. Macklin Celebrini's got 4 goals in 3 games. Those are the leading goal scorers. And then there's 3 guys with 6 points, and then Connor McDavid has 9 points. Again, I just can't state enough how incredible of a player he is. And watching the Olympics, we know these players are good, but they're just reinforcing it to a T. Like, they are better than we even think they are.
One more shout out I want to give because obviously someone's got to step up for Finland, and Capo Kakko is looking like the guy that we thought might have went second overall back in 2019. He is just, maybe it's the internet. Well, it's not even international ice. It's like comically thinner, but it's whatever. Like I was looking at the dimensions for the ice, and I just forgot how like narrow they made it. So that's exciting. But maybe narrow ice is what makes Capo Kakko elite. I don't know, but he is, 4 points in 3 games. I think he had a 2-goal game in that 11-goal game against Italy, but he's just been a presence in that middle 6 that they desperately need right now, especially going into the medal rounds.
DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is built for the fastest game on ice. With player props and live betting, every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers, bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. In terms of presentation, like the broadcast, how's that been in the States? Because in Canada, TSN and Sportsnet have just merged together to go on CBC, and I am so serious. If you're Sportsnet, just hand James Duthie a blank check and get him on that Sportsnet panel, because I think the Sportsnet panel is so boring. Like, Kevin Bieksa is the only guy who shows personality, and him and James Duthie were going back and forth. I'm like, you can make this so much more watchable if you have those guys together. And then for their A team, they have Chris Cuthbert and Mike Johnson, who I love as the color guy. He's just so great at going in depth. Whereas I think Craig Simpson, he's a little, I don't want to say out of touch, but I just think Mike Johnson understands the game and is able to go into depth about the game in a way that's so much more palatable and put analytics in there. I think he's just the perfect color guy. But yeah, I wonder, how has the presentation broadcast been on the US end? Like, who are the guys that are there? Is it Kenny Albert that's there?
Yeah, so I will say this. Take the notes for what you will, but it's mostly TNT guys. It's definitely not ESPN guys. Let's just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But Kenny Albert, Eddie Olczyk, Brian Boucher, A team. Always like that. That's the head TNT team. That's basically been the NBC sports guy for like 15 years. Kenny, I am actually like, I think Kenny Albert's underrated because people just fucking hate him for some reason. I think he's become underrated.
I think
But
he's like Jim
that's just me.
Houston, but American. I think it's how Jim
Yes,
Houston,
except he doesn't fuck shit up like Jim Houston. So
he
maybe
makes a
he will
large
when he gets
stand-
older. I don't know, but
Yeah. I think like he's not the best voice, but when you hear his name, it's like, oh, this is a big game. Like not the best,
Oh,
but
big time.
certainly not the worst. Yeah.
Big time. And he does NFL games too, and I think he does a really good job there as well. But so they have that as the A team. Alex Foss is the B team. I think he's done a very good job. I think Mike Monaco is also one of them. Here's the funniest one though. Guess who's like the C team?
Oh, I know it. I know it. I think I saw this on the Hawks subreddit. It's Chris Foster's, isn't it?
Oh, it's Chris Foster's, and he's still not that great at this. Like, he's still not that great at this. Like Connor and I are sitting there. He's like, "Who is this guy?" I'm like, "He's not going to keep up with the puck. Watch." And he's like 2 plays behind the puck, and I'm just like, guys, I would have rather had Sean McDonough because at least he can keep up with the puck. Like, whatever. He does a lot better at football and baseball, so I'll give it to Chris Foster. He's better at other sports, not hockey. Not hockey. So, like, I got jump scared watching the Switzerland game when I heard that. I just hear Kukin scores. I'm like, holy jump scares at 2022. What the
Kukin scores!
I just love that he has a goal call where he doesn't talk for 20 seconds. It's my favorite. It's my favorite. Great guy. Definitely a great guy, but not the right fit. Thank God they have Rick Ball now. But also, the 2 other guys they have the Sharks color commentator or the Sharks crew and the Flyers crew, I'm pretty sure, since they're both technically NBC. So like I love the Sharks guy. I think he's very underrated.
Isn't the Flyers guy like, and he scores for a case of Tasty Cakes or whatever?
Exactly, it's that guy. But I think he only did like 1 game this year. I know the Sharks guy did a couple though, because I was listening to him. And he's got a very distinct voice. You just don't hear the Sharks loud ass goal horn while he's talking now. So that's nice. But I think they've done okay. The intermission crew is a little small, which is surprising. It's literally just Anson Carter and TJ Oshie, which I thought was interesting. You think the panel would be a little bigger? Oshie's done a great job. I like his analysis. Like he was doing like a shootout analysis on the goalie, and he was just showing like how he gets the goalie to break down, and they just show different forms of film on that, and he's given an interesting analysis. So like, for when when Swayman let the puck in from center ice, his whole thing was like, this isn't as uncommon as you would think, especially if you don't know like what the stands look like. He said like when Washington changed their stands, it fucked with Holtby for like a good little bit. Like if someone like stood up and he didn't know, because like if it's black, you like obviously it's gonna fuck with your line of vision with the puck. Obviously still unacceptable, and it's something that Swayman is bad at. But I thought that was an interesting like take on that, because like I remember like it's kind of the same thing, but like you remember when the goalies changed their equipment, like when they had to wear like smaller pads and stuff in like 2017.
Yeah. I remember
like
when they complained about that. Yeah,
I think you can distinctly look up every goalie's first game in that, and they sucked. And I remember I was at Crawford's first game and he got shelled, and I was just like, it was against Washington, funny enough, and I was just like, yeah, I could believe like friends like that. And then they show the eye level of Swayman, and I'm like, yeah, I probably would have lost sight of that too. But also,
I mean, like goalies
goalie.
are such
do the job
of habit. So when like you're throwing off, like if something changes slightly, I get why you're thrown off, but also stop the puck.
Stop the puck. It's your job. It's literally your job, and it's from center ice. It's your job. But that's whatever. Yeah. I don't. That was just a tangent, but point still stands. I'm really just talking about how their analysis was, and they've made some interesting anecdotes on our end, but I'd have to imagine Canada's a little more on top of theirs than ours. Plus, you got to remember NBC Sports and NBC's doing all this, and they've lost the rights to the NHL like 5 years ago. So, I did think it was funny. For some reason, when I'm on Peacock, I get like the European people. So, like, I'll get like the British announcers for one game, which is fun.
That is so cool.
I got the British announcers for the Canada game, which was sick. They were, and I kind of laughed because I think these guys, like, obviously, they're British announcers. They don't watch hockey outside of the Olympics. No. So, like, Crosby passes to Taves and they score, and he's like, 2 Canadian legends, sauces it to Taves. And I'm just like, buddy, that's not Jonathan. I hope you don't think that's Jonathan, because Devon Taves is not a Canadian legend. Well, he might be after this tournament, but I wouldn't say that. I just thought that was funny, and like they were actually fun to listen to because they use like football terminology while they're
Yeah, and he
calling.
shoots it past the goalkeeper.
He saucers it and he hits the post. Like it was like he had a great call. McKinnon just cranked one off the pipe in that game. Like it was a fun commentary. Like it makes me kind of want to watch Peacock for some of the games that aren't like Kenny Albert because I do like hearing the classic Edzo, look out anytime there's a fuck up. Nothing ever beats. And there have been fuck ups this tournament for that to be said, especially with the defense of, some of the better teams being lackadaisical.
Yeah, just imagine David Attenborough doing hockey commentating. I heard clips of that. That was so awesome. Like
it was electric. I'm not gonna lie, it was electric.
I don't want to say it's bad. I don't think it's bad. It's just so different that you can't help but laugh at it.
You're fascinated by it. You're fascinated by it. At least
exactly.
I am. I don't know.
Absolutely. Oh, I am too. So yeah, another thing I want to bring up: Tom Wilson, Gordie Howe hat trick in the game against France, and then the guy he fought got exiled by his own country. Like I think he's suspended for the rest of the tournament.
Crazy.
Interesting. I wonder if they are soft launching fighting at the Olympics for next time.
Oh, when Brady Tkachuk and Tom Wilson fight in the gold medal game, it's going to happen. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You know it's happening. Oh, we're banned for the rest of the tournament. It's the gold medal game. Who gives a shit? And then they're going to say, no, you're banned for the next 4 years. And it's like, oh, fuck. Can we appeal that?
And Canada's like, Tom Wilson, not the end of the world.
And Brady I'm just Tkachuk, like, we don't get Brady Tkachuk in 4 years, man. JT Miller, go take one for the team. You love fighting. You love getting your ass kicked by Canada. Go do it again.
I love how like mega bot accounts will be like, Canadians booed the Americans anthem, and this is how they responded.
Worse. I hate that. I hate that they got a hold of that game. Not even the fuck. There's two. Those accounts are too thick brain to realize that that's not even the fucking game that mattered. It's like whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, and they think like they did win that game, and I think they lost 2 of the 3 fights. They were like, "This is what happens when you mess with America."
The 51st state of the United States.
Yeah. Eagles, and then they won't even mention like that they lost the game.
They don't know. They didn't watch.
No. They just see the fighting and they're instantly glued to it, and not the actual
caveman brain over.
Yeah. Exactly. Anyways, do you have any more notes to touch on for the preliminary round? Too many words right now. Too many syllables.
Nah, it's lived up to the hype. I'll tell you that much. It's definitely lived up to the hype that we've given it for a decade.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and maybe the thing I love the most about the Olympics is the start time. When it says it starts at this time, it starts at that time. Why can't we get that with the NHL?
3:10 on the fucking dot. Let's go. It's like baseball. Mm-hmm. Isn't baseball like that? Like first pitch, right at 1:11.
7:07 or whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Shame on other leagues. NFL is better at that than the NHL, which is crazy.
Oh, the NHL.
Like the NHL within 5 minutes of 1:00 starts. Within 5 minutes. Every time. Like, they're probably already kicking off at 1:00. Stupid. Waste of time. Although, I will say, for the cup ceremony for the Panthers, they got all that done in 25 minutes. I was genuinely impressed with that. I thought that shit was going to be an hour.
Yeah.
But
maybe they're just like, second time around. Let's get out of
here. We don't need to do that.
No. All right. Let's get on to the playoff round. We weren't able to do predictions for the group
playoffs.
Playoffs? I just want to win a game. And for the case for some of these countries, they do want to do just that. Let's go for the preliminary rounds, which are going to happen tomorrow morning, or if you are in Europe later today. So this game, the winner of Czechia-Denmark goes on to play Canada. Who do we think wins? I go Czechia. I'd be surprised if Czechia didn't win.
Probably Czechia, but don't sleep on Denmark, man. They have played
I know
tougher than they've shown.
To me,
Czechia has shown that they haven't played their best hockey. I don't know. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say none of these games are guaranteed. Well, like Germany, France, yeah, Switzerland, Italy, yeah, but the Czechia, Denmark, and Sweden, Latvia games, I don't think those are shoe-ins, whatever you want to call it. But I
No,
do
and I
think
think it's
Czechia wins.
100%. I think talent's going to prevail, and that's kind of what's happened for these teams that have played very structured hockey, like Latvia and Denmark. Because like it will get you for a while. It's going to take you a while to crack it. It's almost like I'm not going to say it's like the trap back in the day, but like you gotta crack the code and you got to figure it out. They're going to play. They're going to tight check you through the neutral zone, but eventually talent's going to prevail above all. And I got to imagine Natchez and Pasternak are going to get their licks in there, and it's Switzerland or not Switzerland, Sweden. I mean, Sweden, you really have no excuse. Like, you should beat Latvia. At the same time, Latvia has been known to have a good goalie game here or there. So we'll see what happens there. I know the Latvia goalie was really hanging on for dear life against the USA, but I mean, Sweden has not shown that they're going to play to their talent level this tournament. So, and I think that's the same case with Czechia. So, both these teams got to start on time. Both these teams got to play their A game. Because if not, who knows? You might be down 2-1, 3-1 in the first period, especially in Denmark's case. I think Denmark can run up this. Like, Denmark can easily drop 3 on you in succession. They did it in their last game in the tournament.
Yeah, they did against Germany, I think.
So don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on Denmark. If I had to pick a team
they did against Latvia. Sorry, that's who it was.
Yeah. Denmark has a better chance of beating Czechia than Latvia does Sweden, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Who knows, man? Sweden's been playing below expectation, and Latvia plays strong team hockey. You just never know. I will pick Sweden though, and you know what? I'm picking Denmark. Fuck it, we're going for the upset. I have not been impressed by Czechia this tournament, specifically Dostal. I thought Dostal would be better.
Yeah, regardless whoever makes it, I think Canada will destroy them. Like I'm confident in that.
Oh
no. Germany versus France. If Germany doesn't win that, then like fuck.
Ban Lucas Reichel from Germany. That's the case.
Yeah.
Switzerland and Germany should win. Like, there's not a doubt in my mind, especially with Switzerland. Switzerland's not losing to Italy. And Germany's not losing to France. Let's be honest. Come on.
No.
It's not happening. Let's move on to the next round.
So, I'll go with you. Canada. Oh, it doesn't matter. Canada, whoever versus Czechia or Denmark. I think they're moving on. Here's where it gets interesting. Do you think the U.S. beats Sweden if Sweden moves on?
Yes. I think Connor Hellebuyck is playing at a high elite level. And I'm going to be honest, I think the U.S. is going to throw their weight around against Sweden. And that's going to be a problem. Like, they're big on the back end, but they're not big on forward. And I've seen it every game this tournament. The Kachucks just throw their weight around all night. And Matthews and Gensel throw their weight around. Boldy throws his weight around. Nelson throws his weight around. Like, they're a big body team, and I know that's what Guerin was trying to build them as, and they move the puck fast off the back end. So I think it's a tough matchup for Sweden, honestly. And like I said earlier, I don't think Gustafsson's on his A game. So if the U.S. can start on time, which has been the whole thing this tournament, if they just start on time, because they always look better in the second period, but if you can have a strong first period and jump Gustafsson early, I think this is going to be like a 4-1 U.S. win, potentially. Maybe 4-2.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with me. I just don't have any faith in the Swedish goaltending right now, and I'd take Hellebuyck over any of them.
Yep.
Like, who are they even starting? Are you starting Gustafsson? And that's even if you get there. Or they start, because I think they started a game for Markstrom. So are they going to use all 3 goalies? I don't know. Either way,
I don't have any faith in either of those guys. No.
That's what I mean. Like, I'm taking the States and Hellebuyck over them.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
So it'd have Slovakia versus Germany. This is a very interesting one, but man, I've really been impressed with Slovakia. I think they beat Germany.
Yeah, I got Slovakia as well. I just think they're playing such a strong, structured style of hockey, and Germany's shown that they have 2 lines that they can score with, and if those 2 lines get cradled, it's gonna be a tough night. And I like Slovakia's defense a lot more than I like Germany's defense. I may like Germany's goaltending more. I think Grubauer and I forget who played against the U.S., but I thought he played a very good game.
He was very good for a while.
He held his own for sure, and they were lighting him up at one point. So I think I like their goaltending a little more in Slovakia, but also like you said, Slovakia made it a pain in the butt for everyone they played this year. So it's kind of hard to pick against them. So I agree. I'm going with Slovakia, but that might be like one of the closest games of the tournament right there, especially if Germany has their A game on. But I don't know. Like Dreisaitl's walked all those defensemen before. Stützle's walked all those defensemen before. So all it takes is a couple of those. I got Slovakia.
Yeah, I'd go with Slovakia too. And another interesting close one, Finland versus Switzerland.
I'm taking Switzerland.
I'd agree.
I've been very impressed by them this tournament. And
yeah,
Giannoni's been there.
Finland's always there. Like they're like the cockroach of the Olympic tournaments, but this might be the year where they don't make it to at least the semifinals or play in a medal game.
Although maybe it's just the 2017 Canadian World Junior team like flashback in me, but I'm just like when you pump a team 11-0, karma's coming eventually. And I think a team like Switzerland, they're not going to let you do that. I don't mean that for
Canada's
Canada.
Going to lose.
No, Canada. That Canadian team was so cocky after that World Junior game. I don't think the Olympic team's going to allow that to happen. I can see a bunch of 17-year-olds allowing that to happen. You know what I mean? I don't see Drew Doughty and Nathan McKinnon and Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid allowing that.
Never.
But I do think Switzerland. I think every game they've come to play this tournament, I think their stars have gotten bigger when the moments matter, especially in that Czechia game. You watched, they just went blow for blow with them. I thought Yossi has gotten better every game this tournament. Like I think people have just forgotten that this guy, has a Norris Trophy, was at one point like a top 5 defenseman in hockey. And then Nico Hischier and Timo Meier, like both on the Devils, both arguably pretty underrated. Timo Meier's just done what he's done for years, which is just be a net front presence. And on the power play, he's kind of looked unstoppable at times. So I just think all that, coupled with the fact that I have not been impressed with Finland outside of like Rantanen and Kakko, and Heiskanen, obviously, but I don't think their back end's deep enough. I think they don't play as structured as Switzerland. And at the end of the day, like, I don't think Saros has looked good enough to steal the game. You know what I mean? And I think Giannoni, if they play well enough in front of him, can steal the game. So I'm going Switzerland.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Switzerland as well. So if we did do that, the semifinals would be Canada versus Switzerland and then the US versus Slovakia. So I think Canada beats Switzerland, but I don't think it'll be easy. USA versus Slovakia.
Dude, that's going to be a fucking dong show. There's going to be weight thrown around like crazy if that happens. Like Slavkovsky and the Kachucks is going at it in the corner. Oh, man, that's going to be fun. But that's going to be a tight checking game. Like, I think that's another, like, that might be like a 3-1 US win, honestly. I think it's going to be a tight checking game. There's not going to be a lot of room on that ice. And, US is going to have to get creative with their chances, I think, especially with the back end. And I think that'll be the difference. Like, yes, I do like Slovakia's back end. They're all strong defensemen, but the upside of the US's back end is just, they don't have that. And I think the ability to have a fourth forward like a Hughes or a Rowensky on the ice at all times, or Faber for that matter. Faber's looked very good this tournament as well. That's the advantage point. And at the end of the day, I don't think they have enough offensive talent to make me question Hellebuyck. So I'm picking the US.
Yeah, I just think we're destined for another Canada USA gold medal game. Like, I didn't think the same.
Those brackets got announced, man.
I didn't even think that was going to be the case coming into the tournament because I feel like we were so down on Canada and US respectively with how they pick their teams, but then you actually watch them play. It's like, okay, despite all those decisions, they're still the two best teams in this. So that'd be Slovakia, Switzerland, bronze medal game. Who would you pick there? I go
Switzerland.
Slovakia.
Ooh, okay. I've been Switzerland pilled this tournament. I'm not gonna lie, they've won me over watching them. Yeah. So and regardless, one of the bigger bronze medal games in recent memory, if it's those two teams, just in terms of like the weight that brings to their program for the next 4 years. And there's a lot of young NHLers on both squads, especially that Slovakia team. I I just at the end of the day, once again I think it comes down to depth, and I think there's some veterans on that Switzerland team that I think are just going to want it a little bit more. Like this is Yossi's last crack at the can, unless he's like 40 on the team. Like Keishier, they're not going to get another look like this. And at top of that, they're playing for Fiala, so there's that too, which sucks. Like Kevin Fiala should be a part of this, but I digress. If I had a nickel for every time Kevin Fiala shattered his leg and, smiled, I'd have 2 nickels, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's happened twice.
Do you see that tweet where they said, got surgery twice, served face both times? I will say that Kevin Fiala is a good looking dude. A sharp looking
dude. Oh, yeah. And he's making like $8 million to live in LA. Oh, man. I feel so bad for that guy.
No, but the tournament doesn't matter. I can't believe the players would come over here and play for a tournament that doesn't matter, because those were some takes I saw on Twitter. So, and it was a Kings fan saying it. So Switzerland wasn't going to win anything anyway. So then by that logic, then Fiala shouldn't go back to LA.
Then Draisaitl shouldn't be there for Germany.
Yeah, and LA, because they'll lose to Edmonton. Like, again, all these things are made up, but this is the reason why these players play for it, because it's pride. Like,
exactly.
Gold medal game, rematch of 2010, 2002. Do you think it goes a different way than those times, or is Canada back on top again?
It comes down to 2 players, in my opinion. It comes down to 34 and Hellebuyck. If those 2 come to play, they're going to win. But if they don't, I don't think they have a chance. And also, if it's not this year, then what year is it? If it's not this year, then what year is it? Because they have the structure to they have the structure to either get in a barn burner with Canada if needed, or play a 2-1 game. And I think they haven't had that ever in the Olympics. They've had to play their way or the highway. They don't have to do that this tournament. And I think it all depends on how their goaltender plays. And I think Hellebuyck's got a swagger back right now. So I'm not going to say I'm reluctantly picking the U.S., but if it's not this year, then what year is it going to be? Like, you're catching Canada, I think, on a very lucky year defensively. I'm not going to say net, because Binnington's proven himself, but I think on defense, you're catching them on a year where there's not a Doughty, a Keith, and all these guys on the back end, and a Weber, and all these just demons that they used to have back there. Still have some great defensemen back there. I'm like Shea Theodore. I don't think is getting enough credit on that defense, but
he's one of the few I trust.
Yeah, I just think you got to take advantage of some of this, and the high end talent for Canada is the difference for them in this. Like, if they really, really want to, they could run 4 lines with a generational player on it. And I don't think the U.S. can do that. And if their 4th line has Celebrini on it and it's going up against JT Miller, that's a mismatch. That's just the reality of the situation. Granted, Jack Hughes is on the 4th line for the U.S., so I guess it might even out to an extent. But at the end of the day, the forwards are just a little bit better for Canada. They're just a little bit faster. But I think if it gets to the point where the U.S. can play their style of hockey, it might be tough for Canada. It might be tough this year because they like to control the puck and they don't like giving it away. And it's kind of hard to get the puck away from them sometimes unless they start getting lackadaisical. And this is a team full of guys that remember last year, I think. And I think Canada's got a team full of them too. Like, I don't think either of these teams are forgetting that this was a 1-goal affair last year. But I just think they've had a whole year to sit on it. If you don't win it this year, there's some serious questions in that room. And I think the questions aren't on the players at that point. I think that's on the coaching and the management and how they construct the roster. But it's still the best team they've ever had. So I'm not picking against them.
I'd agree. Like, from the standpoint of, I think it'll be more disappointing for the U.S. than Canada.
Oh, it's going to be heartbreaking if the U.S. loses. If Canada loses,
even earlier.
If Canada loses, they'll be back.
Yeah, exactly.
This is 15 years of building up a program, in my opinion. Like, this is the culmination of it. You're literally watching the culmination of it. Like I said earlier, all those 2016 kids are on this team. Gotta be now. It's gotta be now. And then for Canada, it's like, we'll just get 5 more number 1 picks. We'll be back in 2030. And we'll have better goaltending.
We'll bring back Bedard and Schaefer for next time. And again,
Landon Dupont and Gavin McKenna. And Keaton Verhoff will be there. Like, oh, man.
Yeah.
Wyatt Johnston. Oh, no. Not the league leader in power play goals.
Canada's B team would beat up.
Canada's so good, dude.
In this tournament. Yeah. I'm not worried, but
like, there's a reason I'm not just adamantly being like, the U.S. is going to win this. Like, dude, there's a real world where Canada just flexes their way to forward, and it gets hard to compete with. But that's why you play the game. It's going to be like, I'm very curious to see the ratings on this game. Like, if it happens, like, obviously, there's a lot of hockey. There's a lot of hockey to be played. But, like, holy shit, I want to see those Canada-U.S. ratings if it happens. Like, it's going to be – it might be one of the most watched games ever. Like, I don't know what it was in 2010, but
it was like 20 million people in Canada, and that's over half the country. So
yeah, I think it might. Yeah, especially just because of the way I'm not going to say it, I am going to say it politically with the way the world is. I think it's just like we saw how much Kravitz, a fucking, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my God, like a friendly. Oh gosh, I don't even know the term I'm looking for. I'm blanking, but we saw how much traction that got internationally. I just think, oh man, it's gonna be box office if it happens.
It's when it's like to anyone that says sports have never been politically charged, you're wrong. Just go back to the 1972 Summit Series and don't tell me Canada wasn't even Russia's Soviet Union's main opponent in the Cold War, and there was still so much bad blood there, and that's one of the most iconic moments in Canadian sports history. I would just say Canadian sports in general. It was so long ago, and it's still talked about because I think the first half of set of games were in Canada, and Canada didn't play very well, and then they go into the Soviet Union and they win in the last game. Paul Henderson, I think, scored with a minute left. To anyone that's ever sports aren't politically charged or politics don't belong, it's always going to be whether you like it or not.
It always has been.
2014 USA and Russia. Can you not there's definitely some political stuff there. You can't Americans didn't win gold in that. I don't want to be Americans didn't win gold, but how much did that game mean to win over Russia in a shootout with TJ Oshie doing?
To a lot of fans, it meant more than the tournament, which pissed me off as the guy that's I want a fucking gold medal in my lifetime, but that's besides the point. And like you said, politics have always been involved in sports. They always will be. Even if they don't mean to be connected to it, they will be.
Intentionally or unintentionally, they will
exactly,
and I think that's what made the Four Nations face-offs so much more. There was so much more at stake with those games because one country is threatening to annex another country, and that team won in overtime. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, I won't go too much deeper into that. But.
And that whole game, it felt like what, and like I said, it was a friendly game. It was an exhibition. That's the word I'm looking for. It was an exhibition game, basically. And it felt like Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final in overtime. And I can imagine what opening puck drop would feel like in that gold medal game. It's going to be thank God the Olympics are ending on a weekend so I can watch these games if they get to this point. Because I'm not going to be the guy that's this is set in stone. This is hockey. Any goalie can stand on his fucking head and upset any of these teams. I'm not going to pretend like that isn't a reality. But if that situation arises, holy crap. What would that game be? Sunday? Oh my gosh. Electric. 8 a.m. We're fucking drinking at 8 a.m., boys. Let's go.
I remember that was what was so fun because 2010 having the Olympics in Vancouver was so much fun because it felt like
I can imagine. Oh my gosh.
United for once, and I mean that's really the only time Canada's united is if Team Canada at the Olympics or the Blue Jays are going on a deep run in the Raptors hockey. Any of those teams, no one gives a fuck. It's misery loves company. If there's a Canadian team that is trying to win the Stanley Cup, all fans of other NHL teams are going to cheer against them. That's just how it goes. people and like people, everyone outside of Vancouver was cheering for the Bruins. Even like Toronto fans, not that Boston and Toronto were a rivalry, and I think Montreal fans, there's an example right there. I think Montreal fans were cheering for the Bruins. Like that's
I don't think anyone was rooting for the Habs in 2021. Like, I highly doubt it.
No. I mean, I kind of was, but like,
but like that was because it was a hilarious underdog run. They fucking they just pantsed everyone on the way to the Cup final. Like, it was hilarious. Dude, like, that's the craziest part about that run. A complete side note, it'll forever be remembered for the first round. It will never be remembered for the second and third round, which were utterly domination. Like, dominated Fleury and Leonard, swept the Jets. Like, and that never gets talked about. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. And what's crazier is the Leafs get so much shit for that. And you know what? The Oilers made up for it. They've been fantastic since then. If the Oilers hadn't been fantastic since then, holy shit, 2021, we get so much more shit. Because that might have been their easiest run to a cup.
Paul Maurice Jets.
Dude. Paul Maurice still lives in Connor McDavid's nightmares.
Always, yeah. It's like
this is crazy.
The only guy. I mean, he's very lucky that he's not there as a coach. That's why Paul Maurice didn't decide to jump on. He's like, yeah, I don't want to shut down McDavid and not have my country win an Olympic gold medal. I'm staying to the side for
this one. That's crazy.
But yeah, I do think Canada is gonna win just because, like, logically, the U.S. I think has the more well-rounded team, but in my brain, I'm like, there's no way a team with Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, and now Macklin Celebrini, Cale Makar, like, they're not gonna lose a game like under any means necessary. They're gonna find a way to win, and I think we just saw the example of that last year. Like, Canada was so gettable, and the U.S. had their, and like that's all it was. Is like, it was a very tight-knit game, not a lot of chances, and Canada scored on the one fuck up the States did. Like,
that shows how close these teams
and it was Connor McDavid.
That's the thing. Exactly. It took the best player. It's the best player in the world scoring on the Hart Trophy winner that year. That literally was what it was. And that's why, like, I can't, like, I'm gonna, like, obviously I'm gonna pick the U.S. because I think this, like I said, if this is not this year, it's gonna not. I think it's gonna be 2030. Like, it's gonna have to, or there's gonna have to take me a long look at the mirror for the program. Canada, I don't think that's that circumstance. Canada, I think if anything, they'll just look at it like a gap year. So, like, it'll be fine. Like, yeah, it'll suck to not win with all of them, but oh no, you'll have 3 of them back next year. Maybe you'll have 4 because, like we said, Crosby might come back at like 41. Who knows? Like, how old is he right now? 38, 37?
He'll be 39 this year. He's 38. Like,
he'll be back at 42. Come on. 42.
Like, maybe not as big as a role, but
he'll be the extra, and that's okay. And like, instead of Brad Marchand, they'll have Connor Bedard. I don't know. Sounds pretty good. Like, instead of Colton Parayko, they'll have Matthew Schaefer.
Yeah.
But also, like, the U.S. is going to have some new guys. They'll have Lane Hudson. They'll have Adam Fox. They'll have, hopefully Cole Caulfield. Hopefully Jason Robertson. I don't think Alex DeBrincat will ever make the team, unfortunately, but he should have been there this year.
That's unfortunate.
And I will say that's the one thing about the U.S. team that, like, does sit in the back of my mind is they don't have enough right-handed shots on this team. Like, I'm a firm believer you need to have at least a nice little balance of both because you have 5 left-handed players on the ice. The puck's going to naturally go one direction, I feel like. And I was watching that a little bit with the U.S. I don't know if you see that with Canada because I feel like they have a better balance of righties and lefties.
Yeah, pretty good balance, yeah.
Yeah, but the U.S. has a lot of left-handed forwards specifically, and, to have a Caulfield out there I think would be a nice little change of pace. But I can't have them all. Also, Eichel's right-handed, so that helps.
It does. So I pulled up the most watched broadcasts in Canadian history, and all of them are sports games. Number 1, obviously, Canada-US 2010 gold medal game. 16.67 million people watched that game, and I'm pretty sure, like, it was well over 20 million people, like, tuned into the game at one point. The second one is the closing ceremony and opening ceremony. Fucking 4th is Game 7, Dodgers versus Blue Jays. That hurts. And then 5th is Canada versus U.S. preliminary game, which they lost in the 2010 Winter Olympics. Number 6 is Russia versus Canada, where they fucking blitzed them 7-3. And I think it was the first time they had beaten Russia/Soviet Union since like 1960. And then number 7 was the 2002 gold medal game between US and Canada. 10.3 million people watched it. Just thought I'd bring that up as a reference.
Sports. They will draw
Sports.
people when it matters. Especially when the country's behind them.
I'm surprised only 6.9 million people watched the Four Nations face-off final. That's kind of interesting.
Are the Raptors on there?
I don't think they are, no.
That's kind of crazy. You think Game 6 would have been on there?
Yeah,
or maybe
like
Game 7 versus Philly or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't see any. There's a lot of Super Bowls in there.
Hey.
But yeah, like 2025.
Hey, is that Tom? What do you got to know about a Tom Brady? You know, I want to watch Patrick Mahomes throwing touchdown.
All Blue Jays. Let's go back to 2019. So yeah, Game 6 of the NBA Finals. 7.9 million people watched Game 6. Yeah, just some reference for Canadian broadcasting and how many people tune in.
So when we see that 23 hit, you'll know.
Yeah,
23 million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if 2010's ever going to be beaten, but yeah, you can definitely get like 10 million people watching it.
Mm-hmm. Well, also they have to kind of search it differently now because of streaming and stuff. So all the rankings are going to look different this year. So
and illegal stuff.
Wonder how many. I will say one thing nice about the Olympics: the gambling ads per 60 has been very low. I've been very appreciative of that.
Yeah, like the present, like
Super Bowl was actually like disgusting this year. It was either AI ad, gambling ad, like just kill me. Like I don't want to see any of this. Terrible Star Wars ad. Like we didn't even need that, but that was in there too. Like. The Minions trailer without Bob. What the fuck are we doing? Like,
oh my god, the worst offense of them all. The fucking Bob.
I'm telling you, bro, killed my vibe.
Oh my god. So what? No fucking ZD. So what? No fucking.
So what? No Kevin and Bob. What the fuck?
No Kevin and Bob. Yeah, it's nice looking at the boards at the game and not just seeing all the fucking ads on it, and Canada being Rogers for everything. And maybe the best part is I can just stream the games for free on CBC, which is nice as well.
Get excited.
So yeah, that's the Olympic talk. You got anything else to say, or we can wrap this up? Like it's went longer than.
Be ready for the medal round, man. We're ready for the medal round.
And then like cherish it because we're already halfway through. It's gonna go by quick. Like in a week, we're gonna be back to the NHL, and trust me, we're gonna be able to complain about a lot of the things with the Blackhawks.
Back to the Jason Dickinson trade rumors. Oh boy, I can't wait.
Hey, at least we got a top 10 prick that's not.
Oh my god, we're both literally the Drewski video when he goes away from his work wife to his wife. That's gonna be us going from USA and Canada to the fucking Blackhawks. Yeah, we get to go from the Kachuk brothers to fucking Colton Dock and Ryan Donato. Just looked at my bitch inside. Like, damn it.
Yeah, it's him getting in the car, and his kids and wife are excited to see him, and he's like, "Sit down, get in the back." Like us going back to watching the
meet Oliver Moore and Louis Craig.
Hey,
yeah, I actually like those guys. All right.
Yeah. All right. Any closing thoughts, or we can wrap this podcast up?
Nah, we can wrap it up.
So fucking blessed to watch the Olympics. Like, just I can't believe we went 12 years without this like Nuremberg for Bettman and the owners. I can't fucking believe this. And hopefully the Fiala injury doesn't cause anything. Because if we're like, because the
LA's owner can shut up.
Yeah, the
Like,
big
I
thing
don't
about
want to hear
2014 was Tavares getting hurt. And one thing I didn't mention that has maybe pissed me off the most is the lack of highlights. Like they couldn't have struck up a deal.
IOC is actually run like the
Yeah.
mafia. This is such bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're gonna hide it all on our. Like, you're never gonna grow the game. And I don't give a shit about that. But like, oh my god, like, what if I wanted to show the random guy that I'm trying to get into hockey? Hey, you want to see this moment where like Crosby and McKinnon and all these guys are on the ice at
Not
once?
available in this area region. Yeah.
Jail.
Yeah.
Jail.
But you know what? Not to take away because it's been awesome, but yeah, there could still
It's
be
the piece of poop on the cake.
Mm-hmm.
Or the booger, whatever you want to fucking call it.
Mm-hmm. Anywho, be sure to give us a 5-star rating on your preferred podcast platform. Smash that like button. Hit the subscribe button as well so you don't miss out any notifications for the show, whether that is the podcast or short clips from the podcast. So for Pierce and Dylan, take it easy, y'all, and we will talk sometime next week.